So, welcome everybody to another review of a film from the Columbia Noir #4 box set. And yeah, we're looking at the second film, and that is Walk East on Beacon, released in 1952, directed by Alfred L. Worker, who I've seen a couple of films from before. Shock, which was another really rather decent film noir starring Vincent Price, and a superb semi-documentary film called He Walked by Night, starring Richard Basehart, which is superb. And yeah, this stars George Murphy, who I've not seen anything from before, and not even heard of any of his other films either, so a bit of an unknown, unfortunately, in my eyes. And also Finlay Curry, who I've seen in one film before, Footsteps in the Fog, which was decent, nothing spectacular, but a decent enough film. But he was also in three epics, Ben-Hur, Cleopatra, and Around the World in 80 Days. And yeah, this concerns an FBI agent played by George Murphy who works with a refugee scientist played by Finlay Curry, who and the Coast Guard to crack a Soviet spy ring in Boston. Now, that kind of sounds similar to a previous film, i.e., what was it? Walk a Crooked Mile. So yeah, that's the first thing that's wrong with this film. And secondly, it's also not got really any lead characters that stand out from the rest of the cast. They all seem to like meld into one because they're all generally white males, and it's hard to decipher who's who a lot of the time. It's got slack pacing, a lack of action, and it's incredibly dry tonally. Even Walk a Crooked Mile, despite the fact that also dealt with FBI agents trying to crack a spy ring, there was at least some characterization, some lighter part interactions between the two leads, whereas here there's none of that. That said, I did find the plot overall engrossing. I enjoyed seeing the intricacy of the spy ring, people working with one another and how they interact with one another in secret. That was quite interesting, and it has some tension. The police procedural element is well thought out, and the cast is good, but yeah, it's far too similar to Walk a Crooked Mile to really stand out on its own, and does feel a bit of a lapse of oversight on Indicator's part. I have no idea why they would choose two similar films back to back in the same box set. If this was released in another one of the box sets or a future one, then it might well have stood out a little bit more. But back to back with a similar but ultimately far better film does mean that this is a little bit underwhelming in a lot of ways, to be honest. And yeah, it's also longer than Walk a Crooked Mile. Walk a Crooked Mile was 91 minutes long, and this is 98 minutes long, and it really does feel it because the pacing isn't anywhere near as good and the characters aren't as interesting. And yeah, that means that all you really got to latch onto is the plot, and even then that's, as I said, really rather dry tonally. Again, like Walk a Crooked Mile also relies on narration for large parts of its running time as well. So yeah, it's far too similar to Walk a Crooked Mile to really stand out on its own, and even then, in comparison to other film noirs that we've seen in previous box sets, it really wouldn't have majorly stood out. But it would have stood out if it was alongside a non-police orientated film, or a less dry film. So yeah, but sadly that is not the case. So yeah, deeply underwhelming, to be honest. And yeah, the first real film in the box set that I really like to visit again in the future, to be honest. But hopefully the quality will pick up with the third film, as yeah, that has a cast in it that I have seen films from before, and yeah, also has I think a decent director as well behind it. But yeah, nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.